Welcome back to Academy TV. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Just going to hand you over to Jack and Jack tonight at the Black Gold Stadium for Poole Town versus Weston Super Mare. Enjoy the game.
Good evening and welcome to Radio Poole Town here from the Black Gold. The teams are now on the pitch for Poole Town versus Weston Super Mare in the Southern League South this evening. We are just a couple of minutes away from kick-off. My name is Jack Bishop. I'm joined today once again by Jack Tanner.
Hello, that's me.
That's about as much as we'll hear from him tonight, I imagine. JT, Weston Super Mare find themselves sitting. In fact, I won't ask you too much because I think we're about to go to a minute's silence. I will ask for your thoughts on this game after we've had our minute's silence. I was going to say, Poole currently sit 4th in the Southern League South. Weston Super Mare sit in 16th. We're about to go to a minute's silence here. Good evening to those of you who have just joined us on the feed and might be somewhat confused. There was a minute's silence held before kick-off here. We're about to get underway for Poole Town versus Weston Super Mare. JT, I was just about to ask you, Weston Super Mare currently sit 16th in the Southern League South, Poole in 4th in the playoff spots. Do you think that's a slightly false position for Weston Super Mare, though? Do you think they'll provide a threat tonight?
Yeah, again, it just reminds me so much of that Truro game we had just the other week where you just look at the lineup rather than the league position and it just worries you in terms of how much quality that they're missing out. Ex-Dolphin, Jacob Jackie not involved here, but Dayle Grubb on the bench, fantastic player. And then, of course, Weston Super Mare spent money, failed to sign Tony Lee, so they looked lower down the league table and signed Alfie Molden, and they paid an undisclosed fee for him. So, yeah, this is a side that's well-resourced, and like Truro, no matter what their form is coming into a game, you know they have the personal quality, the individual ability to turn games on their heads.
You were itching to mention, Jack, that failed bid by Weston Super Mare for Tony Lee, Poole's talisman this season. 19 goals for him in 15 Southern League South appearances. An absolutely tremendous record. I'm sure he'll be hoping to add number 20 at the very least this evening. As I say,
there's no slight on Weston. He's also rejected national south sides in Chippenham, and also in the summer I think he batted off a few advances. He's very much committed and focused. Even being harsh, I think Saturday he could have had 6 or 7. And a fantastic save, missed a sitter. So hopefully he's got a shooting boots on tonight.
Yeah, we saw some great service at the weekend, which has been a problem for Poole in recent fixtures. That run of 3 straight defeats brought to an end thanks to, as you say, a great goal-scoring display from Tony Lee, but some excellent chance creation as well as the visitors get us underway in their white kit, kicking from left to right. They spray one out to the right wing, and it's immediately behind for a Dolphins throw-in. Sam Jackson will take this inside Poole's half. Jackson sends it up the left. Headed back down the line by Lloyd Humphreys for the visitors. I'll just run you quickly through the lineups here. The Dolphins unchanged from the weekend. So it's Tommy Scott in goal for his home debut. A defensive Declan Rose, Sam Jackson, the captain Will Spetch and Brooklyn Genesini. Josh Carmichael, Corby Moore, Luke Burbage, Teddy Davey and Luke Holmes in midfield, with Tony Lee, of course, leading the line. For the visitors today, just as Corby Moore hooks one forward to Tony Lee. Looks like Poole might be on an attack here, so I'll run you through it now as a free kick is given Poole's way. The goalkeeper is Max Harris. In defence, the captain Kieran Thomas, Scott Laird, James Dodd, Samuel Avery, Nathaniel Williams, Nick McCooty, Lloyd Humphreys, Prince Henry, Jordan Bastin and Jay Murray is the lineup for the visitors. And the Dolphins, with just a minute on the clock, already have a free kick in a dangerous position here. It's about 25 yards from goal, very central. A number of Poole bodies lining up over this one. I'm sure it's not quite at the angle that Corby Moore might want to deliver a cross. I think Tony Lee will fancy his chances at goal from
here. He
here.
hit a crossbar where it met police, and I asked him after the game where that came from, so it's interesting to see if he's got in his locker.
And he does hit it, Tony Lee, and that's a brilliant strike and a great save. Max Harris brought into action early on, the goalkeeper. Only in his third game for Weston Super Mare here. He's been brought in on loan. He was covering for a suspension to Luke Purnell. He's back on the bench today. And Harris brought into action early on and makes a brilliant diving save to his right. Tony Lee had hooked the free kick over the wall and it looked like it was heading for the corner. A brilliant save from Harris to claw it away from the post. Corner comes in from Corby Moore. It's back out to him. He'll let it go for another.
But that's another $5 grand on the transfer fee. You can take a free kick.
As you say, the last one hit the bar and that one perhaps coming even closer. Only a brilliant Max Harris save preventing Tony Lee. An early goal for number 20 in the Southern League South. Corby Moore's corner in again. It was in a good area but headed away by Weston Super Mare to the left. And they'll try and get it away all the way down the left. The attacker looked offside. Flag doesn't go up. Quite remarkable that there was no offside given there. Weston allowed to continue.
Odd again, the linesman, I'm not sure if he's deciding if there's a different passage of play there. Did look to initially flag and then decided not to. Good run here by Luke Holmes here.
Yeah, there was just a touch by Genesini, and I think the linesman then decided against giving the offside as Jackson looks to set Holmes away on the left, but overhit ball. Looks again like Teddy Davey is playing out here wide on the left. We speculated that he might move inside as he evidently prefers to be in the middle of the pitch. Corby Moore now having a good shout at the linesman, understandably so.
Never seen that before.
Yeah, how early though. 3 minutes in, 3 minutes on the clock, and Corby Moore's having a shouting match with the linesman.
I think Corby came to the same conclusion I did there. I think the linesman tried to use the excuse of a different passage of play when it clearly wasn't.
Yeah, no, can't blame Corby there as the ball's sent into the air and hooked away by Genesini. Weston get it forward again. Foul given against Teddy Davey. First of the game by the Dolphins. The youngster arrived on loan from Southampton at the weekend, making his second appearance for the Dolphins today. Just an initial 1 month loan. And as I say, he's once again in this wide left position ahead of Sam Jackson. Whole new left-hand side for the Dolphins, with Jackson missing about a month of action of late. He throws into Corby Moore, plays a 1-2 into the feet of Teddy Davey. I just hope to get a bit more involved today, Davey, than he was at the weekend. Didn't see too much of the ball until the second half as Poole consistently attacked down the right with Burbage. In midfield, Corby Moore losing out there. Attempt at a through ball by Weston, cut out. And then that is a wayward ball from Lloyd Humphreys, and the Dolphins will take the throw in just inside the opposition half. Referee making sure Sam Jackson doesn't take that any further forward than he should. And Weston hook it forward. Brilliant leap from Will Spetch to get above his man and win a header there, behind for another throw in. Spetch's header actually looped all the way over the stand that we're in here, and will be the first call for a new ball. Humphreys sends it over, and it's going to be the captain Kieran Thomas at right back to take this one. Goes back to his centre half Avery, under a bit of pressure from Tony Lee, and Lee's still chasing this ball as it goes from right to left. Now cleared up the line by Weston, headed by Genesini. Not the tallest Brooklyn Genesini, but always alert to those balls over the top and has a good leap on him as well to make sure it doesn't get ahead of him. Throw in on the far side. It will be Scott Laird, the left back, to take. Also player assistant manager for Weston. Here you go, Poole through the middle with Burbage. Back to Carmichael. First nice switch that we see from him out to Sam Jackson on the left. Into the feet of Davey. He has drifted inside now. Bit of footwork to lose his man. And now goes to Burbage on the edge of the D. Tries to flick it back through to Lee, and he does get a shot off block, though. Away only as far as looked like Carmichael might win that one and keep the pressure on, but Weston do get it away on the left. Running at Genesini here. Clever bit of footwork to beat him. Weston man may be able to get a cross in here. He's past 2. Genesini is able to recover. Declan Rose doubling up with him to make sure that he doesn't give a corner away. Weston have it down on the ground again. Still on that left flank. And now a nice switch finds Kieran Thomas on the right. Try to get it into the feet of Prince Henry there. And Tommy Scott is quick off his line to get that one out. 7 minutes gone here. Both teams going for it. Bit of action around both penalty areas. It's Weston who keep the pressure on at the moment, with Thomas ready to take a throw in. No option short, Thomas. He does get one now in the shape of Makuti. Thomas tries a cross, blocked by a duo of defenders in that corner. Rose is battling to get it away, and does. Through to Avery, and defence for the away side, though. Long ball forward, searching for Prince Henry. Is away again. Bit of head tennis going on now. Griffiths does have it down on the deck, cut out by Carmichael though, and then Moore looking for Burbage on the halfway line. Cut out by a rushing tackle, but Poole keep it forward. Lovely ball out to the left with Davey. His touch isn't the greatest though, allows Thomas to get a foot in. And now he goes down the line for Henry. Now Henry's beaten Spetch quite easily there, comes onto his left foot. Oh, there was a couple of blocks in there, and it's behind, fortunately, for a corner. That could have bounced anywhere though. That was a worrying one, JT.
You almost, it's that corner of the pitch where the leaves like to fall and almost Spetch stopped the ball dead and killed his momentum. Did well to recover, got a touch to send it to the left of Tommy Scott's place, and then I think Declan Rose sent it the other way. So Scott was taken out there. But just good enough for the Dolphins. I think the big question mark was whether they call back Jamie Whisker. It seems like they made the choice to rest him even further.
A slight let off for the Dolphins there, and the corner comes in, headed away for another one from the opposite side. That one was from the right, and now Horton have the opportunity to swing one in from the left. It's Jay Murray on corner duty for the visitors.
It's been an okay start from both sides. Poole's best chance coming out, and nothing really. It's about defending these areas and then attacking on the break. And Poole have got players that can hit you on the counter, so hopefully Dolphins get it right at the back. They'll be good going forward.
Murray swings a corner out to the penalty spot, headed away by Poole. Holmes unable to get to the second ball though. Now he does have it after a good blocking from Carmichael, but Moore's cleared ball doesn't find Tony Lee.
Yeah, it's
Weston back in
remarkable.
possession.
Sorry, Jack, how Tony Lee got his head on that on the clearance, and already he's the most advanced Poole player. He's just got that level of fitness that some players don't have, especially for a striker. And it's the one thing that does concern me about a future transfer is sometimes players at this level do just really good at one thing. I think Tony Lee has the markings of a striker that doesn't necessarily have to score goals and be useful to his side. I think that makes him even more attractive to teams higher up the pyramid.
Yeah, I mean the 19 and 15 is a nice added bonus, but Tony Lee certainly does the dirty work too. He's done a lot of pressing already in this game. Really chasing the ball as Weston knock it about at the back and not allowing them any time on it as Carmichael takes a bit too much time on it there. Loses out. Now Weston can get it down the right wing. Thomas passes to Murray. Nice bit of footwork from him to get away from Davey, who was chasing him to tackle. Back to Thomas as captain. Clip ball over the top. That looks a good one from Makuti to chase, but the flag goes up for offside. Makuti was in on goal there, but not too many complaints as the offside flag goes up.
And Makuti, a quality player. I remember during the National South battles between these two sides. It's certainly another that should be playing at a high level. But again, Poole needs to be careful. It's an average game from both sides at the moment. I think it's just going to be a case of individuals picking this game. Josh Carmichael, something Tommy said after the game Saturday that kind of changed my mind is how Carmichael's role is to take more risks, but I think a few times he just needs to be a bit quicker in releasing the pass. It's okay for him to take those risks, he just needs to execute them properly.
Yeah, I did think they worked out in Walton at the weekend. I think Carmichael probably having his best game of the season, actually.
Luke Holmes as well. I think Burbage is very effective as well. I think he's done well to kind of ignore that whole debacle over whether he's deciding to leave or not. I know he had a few family issues as well with his newborn baby. This has been a tough time for Burbage, but he's really doing the business on the pitch.
Yeah, all of a sudden it goes from a concern about his game time to him probably being one of the first names on Killick's team sheet at the moment with his recent performances on the right. And here it is on the right with Genesini darting inside to the Corby Moore. Holmes with a clever turn into the feet of Burbage on the right. And will he fancy a cross? Goes for Genesini on the overlap instead, right at the byline, cross blocked. And Weston makes sure it's not at the expense of a corner. Burbage keeps it alive for Poole, though. Pass one in the corner. Just trying to do a little too much, but does stay in. He touches it back to Genesini. First time cross. Loops into the air. It's allowed to bounce. Davies on the end of it all the way at the back post. He takes it into the corner. Not the best first touch from him. He is still in possession, though. Good burst of pace from Davey there. And leaves with Luke Holmes for an in-swinging cross. Much to the ire of Josh Carmichael, who wanted it. Sent one more to him. Really poor cross from Luke Holmes, in truth. And Weston will get it away down the left again. Pass all the way into Poole's half, where only Henry was waiting for it, and it was cut out fairly easily by Declan Rose. Spetch gives it to Sam Jackson into the feet of Holmes. Captain Jamie Wiskin still unfortunately unavailable for the Dolphins. The groin problem that has been hindering him all season. He's finally had some treatment for that. An unchanged lineup for the Dolphins. Jack Dixon is back on the bench, though, at least. Jackson swings one from deep into the box. The keeper is quick out to it. He's been taken out by Lee, who went under him. Referee might have to have a word with Lee here.
Yeah, there's an annoying trend I'm seeing Weston, as soon as there's a decision, quickly getting to the ref and giving their opinion. I think such gamesmanship just exists all over there. Lee didn't even challenge for the ball in the end. He knew his goalkeeper's rising to it, just a simple collision. I'm not sure why he's even talking to, because if striker doesn't go for those balls, it effectively becomes a contactless event in the game.
Yeah, I think Tony's got every right to go for that ball. Obviously, it's unfortunate the way the keeper ends up going over him, but is the just the risk of the position at times. Max Harris is back up to his feet after some treatment. Of course, as I say, Luke Purnell is an option on the bench, a very good goalkeeper as well in his own right. Harris has been brought in on loan from Cheltenham to cover for Purnell, who had a suspension. As I say, Purnell back available today, but Harris does keep his place. Conceded 3 in his 2 games for Weston Super Mare. 2 wins, however, and then there'll be 2 concerned about that. So back-to-back victories for the visitors. Poole with a win to turn around a poor run of form as Corby Moore wriggles away from a challenge by Humphreys there. Left himself in a heap. And Carmichael once again just rushing a pass. Looks like it might be one of those evenings for Josh Carmichael. There's a couple of failed passes already. Nothing you want to say about that one, JT, no?
Sometimes moves just don't come off. It's non-league football, can't take it too seriously.
Of course. Here you go, the Dolphins, a nice crunchy tackle by Luke Holmes. Kieran Thomas comes out on top, though, with the ball.
That's what I like to see. Nice 50-15. Both players immediately getting back up. No complaints.
Yeah, great challenge. Ball over the top for Henry. Lucky the ball bounced off his heels, or he might have been in there. He was onside. As you say, it was a really nice challenge between Holmes and Thomas there. I feel like if either did scream and roll around, they might have bought something out of the referee there. So glad to see that both were straight back up to their feet. After a great 50-50 challenge there. Weston getting it forward for Henry again. He wins a header. Only 18 years old leading the line tonight, Prince Henry. So on loan here from Bristol City. There's Davey drifting to the right and tried to slip it through to Holmes, but overhit in the end. It runs through to the keeper, Harris, who's back on his feet looking all right.
Need a better spell of position here for the Dolphins. But I think neither side have really troubled either goalkeeper apart from that Tony Lee free kick, and you can't really So that was a well-worked Poole move. Just kind of struggling to get that final ball into Lee at the moment, but some promising signs for the Dolphins.
And here is Weston with the ball in Poole's half. Clever step over there, and Henry might be in. One-on-one with Rose. He's doing well to stand him up. Sends him wide. He's at the edge of the box now. Tries to drill across the face of goal. Hooked away by Carmichael, who was in there defending, I think.
Yeah, it was good by Spetch to hold him up, and then Declan Rose just sweeping that one clear.
It was Rose, you're right. Quick to make sure I don't give Carmichael any extra credit.
No.
No, you're right. It was Declan Rose. Jackson wins the header. Back to the halfway line. Not much pressure on the Western defender. Actually finds a really nice pass out to the left wing.
Yeah, not the best marking there from Genesini. Kind of got a bit lost with the ball and the floodlights there.
Weston continued down the left. Cross hooked all the way to the back post. Jackson makes sure that the Western defender or Western attacker doesn't get on the end of it.
That was pathetic. He's just chucked himself.
Yeah, a couple of half-hearted appeals for a penalty against Jackson there. He'd quite fairly marshalled the attacker out there.
He's chucked himself into Jackson's hand to try and win something. The referee's just told him to shut up and get up. Jackson's got a smile there as well. He said he's never going to get anything for that. Quite rightly.
Tommy Scott takes the goal kick long. His last one wasn't fantastic, and this one goes out for a opposition throw-in. Of course, Tommy Scott still in this Poole side at the moment. Mark Charles, who was named as a substitute at the weekend. I don't think he was ever really likely to be involved. With a shoulder injury that Mark Charles has been dealing with for a few weeks now. And now finally cover brought in for him. He can have a rest. Is a full bench of 5 for the Dolphins today, not even including Mickey Hubbard, if I remember correctly. It's
5 actual... Well,
5 real substitutes.
Mickey Hubbard is a real person and can play football.
Just never likely to. The subs bench for the Dolphins is Dan Bartlett, Jack Dixon, Joe Wickham, Adwell Chipangura, and Will Fletcher. So 5 viable options.
Yeah, I think that's the positive. For the first time in quite a while, we've listened to some depth here. I know Sean Wright's just a bit behind Bartlett and Dixon coming back from COVID. It's just unfortunately just how it's lined up. I know Jess Beth is just a part of the club. He was very unlucky. When there's an injury crisis, he got COVID just at the wrong time.
Looks like Tony Lee could be in here, slipped through by Holmes, but the defender gets there first and knocks it back to Harris. No threat there.
I think that'll be my biggest criticism of this Poole team. Sometimes that simple pass where it just needs that incisive final ball into the feet of Tony Lee. Very rarely, we might be lucky to see it once every 2 games, and to get in there, just not perfect. It's obviously hard to get pinpoint. And Tony Lee, not the fastest strikers, but sometimes you're just waiting for him to get the right service. And no offence to him, sometimes he's had those chances and put them slightly wide of the mark. So,
yeah, as we say, it was despite scoring 4 at the weekend, he probably missed his biggest chance, the one-on-one at 2-0. Could have been slightly quicker to get his hat-trick. That is being hypercritical, though, of course. Tony Lee on a 4-goal game. Not quite the 5-star display you might hope for from him, but...
Yeah, one more goal and he would have matched Alexander Mitrovic, would have been joint top goal scorer in England's top 8 tiers.
It's an interesting one, that. Was Tony Lee the second highest goal scorer in how many tiers of English football was it, Jack?
8 tiers, 19 leagues. So I had to go through 19 different leagues' goal scoring tables.
Remarkable work that from Tony Lee. Very lucky to have him here, of course, but as you say, at times you just hope for a slightly better service to him. That's what we thought Teddy Davey might bring in, but with him being forced to play so wide, it's difficult.
Yeah, we're being very critical of a striker who's being relatively technical. It is the 7th tier. Not going to get perfection, but it's always room for improvement. I think Poole will know that themselves. Has been said by Tommy Killick, has been said by the players. So hopefully we can see Poole build on what was a good win at the weekend.
There's a good interception made by Jackson there. And Weston still in with a cross. Away for a throw-in. Yeah, Jackson made a good tackle initially, but Kieran Thomas was quick to react and slip Weston back in. There was a low-driven cross by Jay Murray that almost made its way through to Prince Henry in the middle. Carmichael wins the ball down in the corner. Davey loses out, and I believe Weston will have a corner here.
He's offside there.
Okay.
Luckily for the Dolphins, but I think Tony Lee might have heard his scream on the radio. Just not anyone really matching his press.
Yeah, it must be frustrating for him at times. I think with the system that the Dolphins have played this season, Tony Lee is often very much isolated up front there. Certainly attacking options, though, on the bench today, if that is the case. With Chipangura, Wickham, Fletcher all able to come on and support him. It's Prince Henry with a nice touchdown. Sends out to Bastin on the left. Still with Bastin, wriggling away from a couple of Poole challenges. One back in the end, and the Dolphins can break down the right. Just hassled into back past their homes, and it was actually a Dolphins free kick. Get it moving quickly. Carmichael sprays one out to Jackson on the left along the halfway line. Advances it to Teddy Davey. Davey with a clip ball on his right foot to the edge of the box. Touchdown by Tony Lee. It looked like Holmes might get on the end of that one. Keeps it alive, though, at the byline. That was a really nice ball from Davey, and just as smart a header down from Tony Lee. Possibly the best chance of the game for the Dolphins yet, but Weston get it forward. Henry touches it down nicely for Makuti.
Yeah, maybe at Holmes they decided to play it and the ball was high in the air. Might have been best to try to shepherd that out for a corner. But good idea there from both Davey and Lee. Poole need to be strong defensively now.
Yeah, they do. As Bastin goes down the left, runs into Genesini, though, and forced to go backwards. He's just got Laird. Early cross from him isn't the best, dealt with easily. And Tony Lee having to do all the chasing on his own once again. As Avery leaves it back to his keeper. And Tony Lee, the only man in Weston's half as he pressed that one. Must be frustrating for him. Makuti chases the ball away into the corner, and flag goes up again. Bit of frustration from him, but if that's the way that you're going to try and play with those balls over the top, you have to accept that once or twice you will be found offside.
And Poole are playing quite a dangerous game because this linesman's very rarely actually in line with the defence, and there's quite tight calls each time, not calls that as a centre back or as a goalkeeper as I was, I'll be very comfortable letting my defence just shut down. So I need to be careful here.
We're over a quarter of a way through this one now. 23 minutes played. Poole Town 0, Weston Super Mare 0. Despite a good end-to-end game, not too much goalmouth action to actually report. Not too many big moments. Really, Tony Lee's first minute free kick, the biggest. But here comes a cross into the box. Harris is quick off his line to catch that one. It was, if you joined us slightly late, Tony Lee with a free kick about 25 yards out, very central to the goal, about a minute into the game. Swung it to the left corner, looked to be going in. A brilliant diving save from Max Harris made sure it didn't. Weston have the ball in possession in the midfield, go back to the defence, just allowing Williams a touch here. All the way back to the goalkeeper, Harris. Oh, Michael screaming for his teammates to get higher up the pitch, help Tony Lee out. And it's sent long once again for Henry by the keeper, Harris. Headed by Rose, and Genesini then sees it back to Tommy Scott in goal. Scott drives it out to the right wing. Header won by Williams, though. Bouncing around now. Henry gets it down. And he sends it all the way out to Jay Murray on the right. He's up against Sam Jackson. Goes back to his fullback Thomas instead. Davey does well to get out to him quickly. Clever clip pass from Humphreys there. Could put Makuti in here down the right, and again the flag goes up. I think that one was a clear offside. Makuti's getting more and more frustrated as the flag keeps going up against him, but it's been a good yard or two offside every time.
It's interesting, Makuti's not frustrated at the linesman, he's frustrated his teammates not releasing the ball quicker. Poole's defence getting frustrated at the linesman for not flagging quicker. That's probably the only storyline that's developed so far today.
Everybody's angry. Corby Moore, I think, has still got it in for the lino as well. And Moore as Thomas and Lee jump against each other. Foul given against Kieran Thomas, the captain.
Chucking themselves to the floor and telling the referee how many fouls it's been, even though he wasn't actually fouled. First time, didn't give a good foul for the goalkeeper. So hopefully Weston will focus on the football, not the refereeing.
No, I actually thought the free kick was going Poole's way there, but does go against Tony Lee as he jumped with Kieran Thomas. I didn't think there was too much in that either way, but I'll just say Weston quick to let the referee know.
Just a nice time wasting here, half an hour in, 25 minutes in.
Be interesting to make a note of how early the time wasting starts in different games throughout the season. We have seen plenty in the first half over the course of this campaign at the Black Gold, but just as we hit the 26-minute mark, the goalkeeper Max Harris there taking his time over the free kick. Nothing came of it, except for a Weston throw-in on the halfway line over on the left. Very softly goes down again, the Weston player, under some slight pressure from Burbage, I think it was. And now here go Weston again, take the free kick quickly. Laird is bursting down the left. It's past 1 and then 2, and buys a free kick in the corner there.
Third time he's chucked himself to the floor in the span of a minute.
And referee's bought it again. This is a fairly promising position for Jay Murray to potentially deliver a in-swinger on his right foot from that left-hand side. Super noise coming from the Dolphin supporters in that John Allen Grove stand, as always. Never a dull minute here at the Black Gold. And it is Jay Murray, the right footer, over this free kick, right down in the left corner. Almost taken as if it is a corner. He swings it into the penalty area, headed away by Poole. That was a dangerous delivery. Genesini can break.
Great run there by Teddy Davey.
Yeah, good work by Davey, you're right, and he's out to Holmes on the left. He's got Jackson overlapping. Cross to the back post. Lee jumps, it's just over him. Burbage might try and keep this one alive.
If Tony was wearing a white shirt, they might have been tempted to chuck himself with a slight shove in the back.
Yeah, I think he was just pushed underneath that one. Probably wasn't getting to it anyhow. You're right, though. I thought it was Genesini at first bursting away on the right. It was actually Teddy Davey, Jack, who did really well to come away with that ball. Didn't quite have the pace over his man, but cut back onto his left foot instead to lose his defender, and then sprayed it nicely to Luke Holmes on the left.
And is that decision making? Sometimes we've seen more senior players this season would have stubbornly continued their run rather than let it off. There's the right decision there from Davey, and he's unlucky. Good ball into the box, just didn't quite come off the Dolphins, but hopefully there's a bit of a confidence boost.
Yeah, no lack of confidence from Davey at just 18 years old. There he goes again. He's drifted into a more central position. He's linking up with Burbage on the right now. That could be a foul. Free kick given the Dolphins' way. Just some sarcastic applause behind that goal. And now free kick. And once again, it'll be one that I'm sure will be delivered almost as if it's a corner. Over in that right corner, Corby Moore to take. It'll be an outswinger.
Yeah, it's not quite the three penalties we saw at the weekend. And did make me laugh afterwards. Tommy did complain that Poole should have had a fourth.
I did say after the second was given, I almost had to pinch myself with the way that some games have been refereed this season. Moore to swing it out to the edge of the area, met by a Weston head, but back out to Moore again on the right. No, it's not. Weston can get it away as they get there first. Ball sent long from Makuti to the right. Important that Rose won his header, and he did. Now plenty of space for Luke Holmes to run into as he takes it into the opposition half. Leaves it with Corby Moore on the halfway line. To Carmichael in the centre circle. Out to Sam Jackson on the left. Just slowing it down here, Poole. Carmichael forced back to Will Spetch, who's the captain today. And Declan Rose.
On the one hand, yeah, they kind of slowed this move down a bit, but it's nice to see Poole actually pass the ball around and have a sustained spell. I don't think either side's really done this so far.
Yeah, knocking it about very nicely, the Dolphins. I was, slightly critical that the counter-attacking opportunity was wasted there, but a move towards just holding on to the ball for some time by the Dolphins, and they still have it over on the right wing. Nice link up between several bodies over there, Holmes and Genesini and Burbage, cross-swung to the penalty spot, cleared away only as far as Carmichael fancies a long shot. That one might have been heading in, it was blocked by a stomach. That looked a nasty one to get in the way of. Carmichael's absolutely rifled that one, and I think that was heading for the back of the net. Might have even broken the net, that one from Carmichael. So much power on it. Blocked bravely by Nathaniel Williams, the centre-half. Free kick given Weston.
And linesman then, referee not knowing the new rule, but you can't give a handball if it bounces off your own body and hits your hand. Nicely, we've got the best match officials here again.
Yeah, what's new in the Southern League, eh? We are...
And Genesini being booked here. I'm not sure what for.
I've had something to say about the referee there. Sees his yellow card given. First booking of the game. We have 31 minutes played here. Poole Town 0, Weston Super Mare 0. Dolphins just growing into the game a bit now with a good spell of possession. But in truth, I don't think either side has really been deserving of a goal just yet. Not quite the level of action that we saw at the weekend in Walton. The 6-goal thriller. The Dolphins, well, Tony Lee scoring 4 of them. Harris gets it out to the right. Thomas wins a header, not convincingly, but we'll go through to Murray. Free kick goes Weston's way again.
People need to be careful because this is one of those where referees giving just slightly innocuous challenges aren't really fouls. Starts winding up the Poole players. It's not quite the massive grievances we saw like Hayes and Yedding, but you can tell Poole getting a bit frustrated by some fouls being given.
Ball slipped through there. Quick off his line is Tommy Scott to gather that one. Now with Carmichael. He's got time. Drills a nice pass into the feet of Luke Holmes. Beat 2 or 3 lines there.
To be fair, referees played advantage there for a similar sort of foul.
More back to Spetch, slightly loose pass for him. He does get to it though. Slowing it down again, he gives it back to Corby Moore on the centre spot. Now to Carmichael. Just slowing it down a bit again, Paul, with Genesini on the right. And just say now, booked. Only about 10 minutes left of this first half. A nice ball slip from Makuti, certainly onside this time.
Big caught there.
Spetch did well to get out to it and was just clipped by Makuti afterwards as well.
Yeah, nothing cynical in that. Makuti just going for the ball. Spetch looked quite similar to the 2 penalty fouls we saw at the weekend where Spetch just nips in the head, gets the ball, clears it. Makuti's slightly late.
Yeah, he's quick on his feet for a centre half, Will Spetch. Able to get to that one quickly. So importantly, he got that first touch before Makuti there.
I've never actually heard a club captain complain about 10 yards for a free kick. Again, I think the only thing so far that's noticeable about Weston is just how much complaining they do for such a game of relative non-event. This is what I've noticed most teams in this league. They're either really good at gamesmanship or they're like Walton where they just keep on getting undone. It was quite refreshing actually, the Walton game, where 3 penalties but there was no frustration, there's no complaining from either side, they just both got on with it.
Yeah, you'd think by the third one that there might be some ire at the referee because a couple of them, you know, they were penalties but they weren't your absolute stone wall.
They were just I think each fouler knew that they were late and what they were. More frustrated the ball was going away from goal. Just individual mistakes. But yeah, as you say, they're all definite penalties. Just nothing cynical, nothing worthy of a card. I don't think any of them was booked. The goalkeeper in the end made 2 fouls and didn't get a booking. So
refreshing though, as you say, to see them take it on the chin and move on with it. Nice to see a bit more of that at this level. Here's Kieran Thomas, the captain. Wins a throw in off Teddy Davies' shin. He was pressing along with Corby Moore. Thomas just advancing up the pitch. Right back and captain. I've seen a lot of attacking involvement, Thomas. His throw-in is to Makuti. Gets it back out to Thomas. He might fancy a cross. Does, and it's blocked by Jackson.
Well, we're talking about complaining. There's a lot of complaining from Poole. Not a lot, but there's a lot of frustration between players that certain roles aren't being fulfilled. I think Tony definitely expresses a lot more because, as we said, doesn't quite have his energy efforts matched by others.
Risky pass across the box looking for Carmichael there. He did well to wriggle away from the 2 men on the edge of the box, and here goes Davey to bring it away to the centre circle and then goes right to Genesini. Certainly seeing more involvement in the centre today, Teddy Davey. I think slight agreement between himself and Luke Holmes to interchange at times, and here is Holmes picking it up on the left. Davey stayed central. Holmes drives inside, almost got to the edge of the D and then forced back to Carmichael. He's going to try and spray one out to Burbage. Nice pass touchdown, well by Burbage as well. He's loosed Genesini on the overlap. Cross swung all the way in over Tony Lee's head again. Davey keeps it alive. He's come back out to the left. Attempt to beat his man there, doesn't come off. Thomas gets it away. Spetch with a vital touch to take that one away from Makuti, and Declan Rose can bring it out. Nice pass into the feet of Holmes there, and he almost managed to turn one around first time to Davey. It was actually Burbage, who drifted inside. Real interchanging trio behind Tony Lee today for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and all that came from was a hospital pass to Carmichael, who did very well to keep the ball live. Lovely little switch-out play. And I think it's moments like that is what you're looking for Carmichael, is right now, quick switch of play to start attacks and open up space. And look, brilliant diagonal switch allows Jackson some space to drive into and start spreading the Western defence.
Jackson finds Davey, foot in there, and there's a free kick right on the edge of the opposition box. And this is in a nice position. It's about as far out as the first one, Jack, but more so to the left, about 10 paces, just wide of the left post of the goal. I'm not sure if this will be one where Tony Lee fancies his chances at goal again, or Corby Moore might want to swing it into the box. I think a bit too close still to swing a cross in. And Tony Lee certainly going to line up a shot here once again.
Yeah, there's a foul, but you can tell Teddy Davies come from a Premier League academy, because he's left the training leg, he's chucked himself down after being forced off the ball. Foul, but he's definitely sold it.
Yeah, sure, that's a trick they teach at St Mary's. And Lee ready to take this free kick. Wall looks awfully close. He bends it. Oh, that's another brilliant free kick. Another brilliant save from Max Harris. This one really was going for the top left corner. Tony Lee did brilliantly to get it up, bend it over the wall, bring it back down just to come inside the top left corner, and Harris sprung to his right to get hands on it again. Both of the best moments of this fixture in the first half have come from Tony Lee free kicks and Max Harris saves. Corby Moore's corner now to the edge of the box, headed by Poole and flicked over the top of the crossbar. It's going to be another corner. Poole come close once again.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was Spetch or Lee there. They both got green boots and the buzz cut. I'm not sure if that was a needed intervention from Weston just because the angle we're at, but it's a good moment here for the Dolphins. If they're going to score goals for set pieces, still a valid way to win games. We aren't really generating much for open play at the moment, so.
There goes Moore with the Connell from the right this time, headed by Lee again, but this one is way behind the goal. No threat there. Promising passage for the Dolphins there, though, but those are the ones that we need to make count. Looks like Max Harris, the goalkeeper today, will certainly be difficult to beat. No surprise to learn that he has come from Cheltenham, who gained promotion to League One last season. Made a couple of first-team appearances for Cheltenham last season, was mostly an unused substitute for them. Just coming out here to get some first-team experience. His third loan move of the season already. Harris sends his goal kick out to the left.
Needs to be careful there. Has quite a bit of Makuti and quite rightly a foul.
Yeah, no complaints about that one against Declan Rose. I should say Genesini will just need to be careful over in that right back position now on a yellow card. Wouldn't be surprised with the options on the bench if Genesini is subbed off later on in the game, just with the awareness that Western players are not too hesitant to go to ground. And a free kick swung from the left with much pace on it. Hooked away by Carmichael, though. Headed back forward to the edge of the D and forward again by Genesini. Ball still in the air. Here's Murray. Didn't do enough to keep that one in play. Poole have a throw-in. 5 minutes left of this first half. It's still Poole Town 0, Weston Super Mare 0. The Dolphins just starting to look a bit more promising towards the end of this half. Carmichael with a beautiful ping out to Genesini on the right and touched well by the youngster as well. Can't quite get past his man Laird, though. Genesini is going to keep fighting for it. Clever touch by Williams, the centre-half. Cut out by Burbage, though. Williams out to meet him again. Good battle between those two on that right flank. It's back with Genesini. Carmichael inside. About 35 yards from goal here. Carmichael loses out to Makuti, who's come back to do some defending. Humphreys with a good pass to McCooty again. Now Weston can break. Shay Davey on the right. Clever touch away from Sam Jackson, back inside. Humphreys just in front of the halfway line, goes back to Kieran Thomas, the right back in his own half. To Humphreys on the halfway line again, and now back to Avery, the centre half. Pressed by Tony Lee once more. He goes to Nathaniel Williams, the left centre back. He'll be pressed by Luke Holmes. Williams goes long up the line and behind for a throw-in.
It's moments like that which completely vindicate Tony Lee when his pressing efforts are matched. Win the ball back because Holmes has put pressure on the centre half, who's just smacked out of play.
Yeah, it's a couple of times that Lee has pressed the centre halves like that, but it's been so easy for them to just pass to their defensive partner and then get it out. Speaking of getting it out, Carmichael struggling with the ball in defence again here. Shot taken from the left, blocked well by Rose though, and it's away once again by Poole. Up the right, Burbage wins in the air, can't direct it towards Lee though. Williams, pressed by Burbage and Lee again. Forces them long with Harris from the kick, headed forward and behind for a throw. And again, as you say though, the two-man press for Poole, just forcing Weston into a panicked long kick. So much better than watching Tony chase shadows up there on his own, as was the case in the first 10 or 15 minutes. Weston get it away up the left. Rose with a clever pass into the feet of Davey on the halfway line. He loses out to Humphreys though. He tried to slip it through to McCooty. And just a case of you have it back, no, you have it back at the moment. Both teams struggling to keep possession. Here's Humphreys as Weston do try to hold on to it. Linking up with Laird on the left. And throws himself to ground there, Humphreys, as he ran into trouble and wins a free kick. The Dolphins dugout absolutely furious with that one. It was right in front of them. Tom Killick, Mickey Hubbard certainly not too impressed with the decision there. Several have gone Weston's way in this half, has got to be said. Humphreys back to Avery, furthest outfielder back for Weston. He passes it to Kieran Thomas on the halfway line. A couple of passes ends up going forward to Henry, and that's a pathetic free kick. Henry turned away from Spetch and then threw himself to ground rather than running onto the through ball as it bounced over Spetch's head.
I think Spetch just makes a decision there for the referee by holding a bit too much. The ball's still going to get onto the ball.
And Will Spetch sees yellow. It's the second of the game, both going Poole's way. Genesini and Spetch in the book now, two of that back four. Spetch, did just put his arm around Prince Henry. I certainly thought that he threw himself to ground slightly easily. It's another that you can tell is of a high-level academy. Prince Henry on loan here from Bristol City.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's Holmes with a limp, injury limp, or a running limp, if that makes sense, if he's just cramped up a bit.
Yeah, I'm sure that Holmes will at least make it to half-time before a decision's made, or into the final minute of regular time in this first half. Still Poole 0, Weston Super Mare 0. Humphrey stands over the free kick about 40 yards from goal, fairly central, just a bit to the right. Swings it to the back left post and over everybody, behind for... No, it's not behind. It's been kept in by Poole.
Genesini just flicked it on just in case. And
looks like Lee could be in here. Harris with a very risky driven pass to the left.
Yeah, it sounded like he put a bit of power behind that. It was scuffed more than a disguised pass, but whatever works. And it's worked here as Weston on the break.
Thought it might have just taken a touch off one of the on-rushing players there. Weston go down the left. Cross blocked again by Rose, and Genesini can bring it out. Into the feet of Holmes. Back to Carmichael. No additional time at the end of this first half. The half-time score, Poole Town 0, Weston Super Mare 0. Not too much action throughout this first half to report other than two spectacular Tony Lee free kicks, trying to add his 20th goal of the season in the Southern League South. Both were met by Max Harris, the goalkeeper, equal to them, though, with two spectacular saves. That the best of the action in this first half, but the score at the interval is Poole Town 0, Weston Super Mare 0. We will be back on Radio Poole Town in about 10 minutes' time for the second half.
Half time then, goalless here. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Enjoy the second half as the lads come back out. Hopefully Poole Town can get the win.
Welcome back to Radio Poole Town, where the sides are out for the second half here. Hopefully one with a bit more action to report than the first. There hasn't been too much action around the grounds in the Southern League South today. Farnborough 1-0 up at home to Beaconsfield. Kings Langley remarkably 3-0 leaders at home to Hartley Wintney. All other games, Merthyr v Dorchester, Met Police v Chesham, and Salisbury against Walton Casuals, 0-0, the same as this one, Poole versus Weston Super Mare. We are about to get underway for the second half with the Dolphins kicking from left to right, about to get us underway. Kick-off taken by Josh Carmichael, sent long out to the left. And nobody particularly the target of that one. So often is the case with Poole's kick-offs, I find that long pass is laid off for Corby Moore or somebody to take and sent straight out for a throw-in, just immediately inviting pressure. And better to just knock it about and...
Rugby-esque.
Yes, absolutely. And just keep some possession there. Not the Poole style, unfortunately. And now Weston have a throw-in on that far side, touchdown to Humphreys. Now Thomas into the air for McCooty, touches it down well, into the feet of Humphreys again. Slightly loose pass for him, but Henry keeps it alive. Out to Laird on the left. Genesini tackles well, and it's a throw-in for Weston Super Mare, about halfway into Poole's half on his left-hand side. Williams was an option for Laird. He goes inside instead. Good footwork by McCooty on the edge of the box. Might slip it through. Tommy Scott's quick off his line to make sure that it doesn't go through, though.
There's a few complaints there from Weston. There was a little bit of a, not stamp, but like one of those little tackles. So perhaps lucky for the Dolphins there, but looks like we're going to see much more of the first half when either side really creating much of note.
Holmes lost out to Murray there on the far side, and Weston can attempt to attack. Instead they go inside to Dodd. Nice braid pass from him to Laird, who's overlapped on the left. Early cross by him to the near post. Good touch, and a brilliant bit of defending, I think it was, from Declan Rose, who got in front. Not sure if that made its way through to the keeper for a save.
Yeah,
Jack.
Scott did well there with his left leg, De Gea-esque. I think that's the modern day reference. Reminds me of a young Jack Tanner in his prime between the sticks.
I think you'd rather De Gea as a comparison, in all fairness. But
No, very good. And Declan Rose also did well to intervene. Good to see Poole playing to the whistle there. I think probably would have been a hearts and mouth moment if they had stopped dead, like they've done a few times when it comes to offside calls tonight.
Flag went up there. As you say, good initial stop with the foot of Tommy Scott, and then Declan Rose actually reacted second to it and got it away, but the flag had gone up anyhow. Just a sign that Poole might need to switch on back there, though, despite the offside flag going up. I think McCooty was in far too much space in the middle of the box there. And that ball takes a nasty bounce over the head of Laird. Throw in by Burbage to Genesini, just on the edge of Poole's box. Forward into Luke Holmes, does well to get the first touch, but Nathaniel Williams hustles him out of the second one. And into the feet of Henry on the edge of the box, who turns well. Genesini almost put a foot in there and could have been in trouble there. Crossed the edge of the box, Rose's touch held on to by Tommy Scott.
Yeah, I think we saw it in the first half. Tony was frustrated that Teddy Davey wasn't covering his overlapping man on that left-hand flank. Burbage has been quite guilty of it during the second half at the moment, and it was a bit of a passenger when Poole had to retreat for that last attack. So interesting to see what happens going forward.
Kieran Thomas trying to send it long down the right, and Henry might get onto this one. He's got a burst of pace, but Rose gets across. And the free kick goes Poole's way in the end. Henry had his arms all over the back of Declan Rose, who'd got in there to defend.
Yeah, great defending there from Rose. Again, it's a refereeing decision I don't 100% agree with. I think Rose just there, shoulder to shoulder in the end. He goes down because he knows he has to sweep up the ball. But in the end, Dolphins will just be pleased to get out of their defensive duties. At the moment, Weston are not quite knocking at the door, they're just kind of going up the garden path, if that makes sense. I think it does.
I think so. Here go Poole with Luke Burbage. Early shot from him, saved by Harvey. Might beat Poole to Tony Lee, but in the end cleared away by Weston. The defender was there first. Promising effort that from Luke Burbage. was about 35 yards out, but just thought, I'm going to hit this early and test the goalkeeper. And almost saw Max Harris in some danger.
Yeah, I think Burbridge was the most advanced man there. Maybe if Lee was a bit higher up, there would have been a chance on the follow-up.
And here you go, Poole into the box with Holmes across the face of goal and hooked out of the goal mouth by Harris. Sorry, that was actually Nathaniel Williams on the goal line. Made sure that one didn't find its way in.
I think if you're going to be critical of more there, he just wasn't selfish enough. I think he tried to cut it back, tight angle, but maybe if he probably best there would just drill it across the face of goal and hopefully just a stray leg sends it past the goalkeeper. But promising signs for the Dolphins. We weren't too pleased with what we saw in the opening few minutes, but they've certainly improved now.
Yeah, early stages of this second half. 50 minutes gone, 40 remain. It's still Poole 0, Weston Super Mare 0, but the Dolphins have been growing into this game. Slow starts to both halves, I would say, by Poole, but hopefully that is behind the Dolphins now following that attack. Laird's throw-in. Headed down by Genesini. Holmes can't get the touch. Burbage can, but only into Humphreys. Nice switch pass out from him to Kieran Thomas on the right flank. And he drives into Poole's half before a foul committed there. Can't quite see who that was, Jack. Can you?
Tony Davey there. And I think it's just because he's kind of jumped into that and definitely not going for the ball. Yeah, borderline yellow. I can see what the referee's given it. Based on what the referee's given so far today, it doesn't surprise me he's gone for a yellow. But Tony Davey, good tracking. And then once he realised the man had beaten him, it's time to take him down. Again, gamesmanship, kind of cynical, but I think if you're Poole, you might take that one. Slightly concerned now that Poole do have 3 bookings.
3 bookings and 2 to 2 18-year-olds, Jack. Might be a slight concern.
Yeah, perhaps I think that's when Jack Dixon might come in and saying that he's been sent to warm up.
And good to see Jack Dixon back available for the Dolphins. Not sure how fit he will be, but I'm sure we're going to see some involvement from him as he works his way back into the team. And Davey got away from a challenge there and then was caught by Humphreys on the halfway line as he was breaking.
Yeah, I think the referee's going to apply similar sort of logic there to Davey, where it's not necessarily the foul itself, it's the reason why he's made the foul, and it will be a first booking here for the number 8. But lively there from Dolphins, good communication between Lee and Davey to allow Davey to run free. That's what I do enjoy about Davey, especially on the counter. He looks very lively. Owned him side a penalty at the weekend. He's looked good breaking forward tonight, so hopefully we can see a bit more of that.
Yeah, it was a good burst of pace from him, and he was brave to stay on his feet and keep trying to go forward with that one rather than go down for the foul. But fortunately the referee did still see the clip on him by Lloyd Humphreys, and he goes into the book. 4th booking of the game, first for the visitors. The long ball is set towards Lee, who just has to let it go. I think he knew he was in an offside position there.
That's a bit more what Poole need. I think, yes, of course I've been critical of Carmichael throughout the season, but sometimes it does feel like he's the only person trying to make those forward balls, at least try new things, and it's nice to see Declan Rose get involved. Sometimes just kind of waiting on individuals to beat a man on the dribble rather than using the ball. Good idea there from Rose, and it should take a little bit of pressure off Carmichael. I think he's had an okay game. I think at the moment it's just a very resolute Western defence who aren't really giving Poole many opportunities to run in behind.
Yeah, I think it is a clearly defined role for Carmichael in trying to be the main playmaker. Sometimes you do have to accept that a midfielder will misplace a pass or two when trying to hit those spectacular balls to get in behind. And in fairness to Carmichael, he probably does have the best passing range in the Poole team. And here go Weston into the right corner with Thomas. Trying to get away from Jackson. That one certainly looked a foul, but Poole got away with it.
Been a few in those situations that the referee's given. That's one of the worst ones we've seen today. Would have been right up the referee street, but quite interesting. I think Carmichael's passing range really comes into it when Poole can stretch defences. We've seen it a few times where they've had that diagonal and switched it out wide to Jackson. The referee being slightly pedantic about the throw, and I'm not sure if it's a foul throw he's given now. Player will switch here.
Yeah, referee we're being strict over this one. Jackson gets up the line. Hooked out by Weston again. Poole have a throw in further up.
And the complaints coming from Weston's bench now as well. You can hear that high pitch whining.
Somebody's absolutely fuming over there. It looks like the first change of the game is going to be made by the Dolphins. Jack Dixon coming on for the hosts. And it is Brooklyn Genesini, one of those on a yellow card that makes way. Good shift from Genesini, but as soon as he picked up that yellow card, I did suspect that we might see Jack Dixon make his return to the team in his place.
Yeah, I was surprised not to see Dixon deployed further upfield, but kind of paves the way for Chip Angura to come on later on. Interested to see what happens to Davey, but it seems that booking hasn't changed Tommy Killick's substitution plans.
I think Genesini is the more important one to protect, given that he's in the defensive position.
Yeah, to me that's slightly risky bringing Dixon inside COVID. Might be a bit rusty to right back role, but maybe it's also to create overlaps going forward. That's where the Dolphins have struggled. We haven't really seen Jackson or Genesini offer much in support to the wingers.
Of course, if Dixon is feeling 100%, then we'll see plenty of attacking help from him and overlapping Burbage, but with that pace and fitness to be able to work back as well and do his defensive duties. Bit of a disagreement, to say the least, over on that far side.
The referee signals for a Western free kick, and in the end it's been a Poole throw-in after Poole complaint, and I think the referee spoke to his linesman.
Carmichael into the feet of Davey, tried a clever, almost Burkamp-like turn away from his defender, didn't come off. Williams smart to it. Carmichael with a good interception there, though, as Weston tried to get it out. Dixon's first involvement is to be fouled in the middle of the park as he drifted inside.
And the game's kind of opening up, but the referee's just not letting everything flow. Again, I thought the Genesini booking was soft. This one's a soft booking here. It's just being kind of inconsistent for the official. I think that's the infuriating thing here. I think Poole would have been happy to continue there, but it's the stop-start nature. There are gaps opening up, but neither side really can exploit them because the whistle goes.
Yeah, and with that, a fifth booking of the game. Is now 3-2 in that sense. Makuti goes into the referee's book. I have to wonder if Weston may consider removing him from the pitch as well, because he has been cutting a frustrated figure this evening. Here he is on the ball, though, again, Makuti. Clever shimmy and drop of the shoulder to get away from Davey there. And in the end, just runs into trouble and runs out of play.
And I'm not even sure what Makuti's complaining about. He's just made a diving motion.
Spetch out to Jackson on the left.
Just kind of hoping a game of football will break out soon.
Would be nice to see. Williams gets in there again. He's been very strong in the defence for Weston, ensuring that Poole don't have too many attacks. I'll say the best opportunities of the game coming from Poole set pieces. Sort of game where Jamie Wiskin would be nice to have, as Poole failed to pass out of defence and Weston back in the ball inside Poole's half. On the ball, sorry, not in the ball. That would be weird. And here they have it back with the goalkeeper Harris. To Nathaniel Williams again. Tony Lee once again is having to press on his own and clearly frustrated there.
I think Tony Lee's mastered the art of running at full pelt at defender while screaming for support. Don't know how he has lung capacity, to be honest.
It looks an arduous task, but I think Lee's got the engine for it.
Interesting means what we're hearing from the Poole camp, he's not 100% fit as well, so scary to think what he could be capable of. He's still relatively young, even especially for a striker, I'd say.
Yeah, certainly got a couple of years to come until he would hit what you would consider his prime, really, as a cross comes in from Weston, dealt with by Rose, I think that was, again, getting it out. It will be a Weston corner on that right-hand side. Chance for Jay Murray to swing one out on his right foot from the right-hand side. No changes made yet by the visitors. Nobody warming up either, it doesn't look like. Oh, they do have one, actually. Sorry. It's actually an in-swinging corner with the left foot. Well held by Tommy Scott, though. Had to get out towards the penalty spot and grab that one through a huddle of bodies. Dolphins get it away now. Dixon inside to Carmichael. His pass is short for Luke Holmes. Humphreys cuts it out and sends Makuti in on the left. He's onside. up against Declan Rose as he runs into the box now. Rose defends well. It will be another corner for the visitors, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite who was at fault there, Carmichael or Holmes. It wasn't the best of passes, but Holmes just kind of stopped his run early. Might confuse Carmichael, but again, it's just neither side really creating much. We're seeing a lot of set pieces.
Speaking of, it's going to be another for Weston. Looks like a left footer on the corner once again, even from this left-hand side. It is swung out. Oh, and that looked a dangerous one as it flashed across the face of goal. But the header not able to put enough direction on it. The power was certainly there already, but just couldn't send it goalwards, the Western attacker.
Yeah, when it comes to set pieces, is what you say about goalkeepers. Is got to make sure you're decisive. He was decisive to come there, Scott, but then he kind of froze. I think he just mistimed that. Bit of a lucky break for the Dolphins, but really, neither side even threatening from corners. It's just those 2 free kicks we've had to talk about. Poole just need to, well, either side just needs to get the ball down and create something. I won't even say particularly it's either side preventing the other from doing that. It's just sloppy mistakes and stop-start game.
Yeah, it's a long way from the game that we were treated to in Walton at the weekend and even at Frome the week before, despite the defeat. 2 really exciting games of football, those. Couldn't say the same about this one so far, unfortunately, as Makuti drives at Rose. Well defended by him again. Passes inside to Jack Dixon as he was forced into the corner. And Dixon up the line. Nathaniel Williams is first there. Tony Lee does enough to ensure Williams can't prevent the Poole throw-in. Dixon's throw to Carmichael. Pressed by Laird and Dodd. Declan Rose's pass to Spetch, who's the furthest outfielder back for the Dolphins. Sends it long out to the left. It's over the head of Davey and behind for a throw-in. We're over the hour mark here. About 28 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. Still Poole Town 0, Weston Super Mare 0.
It's hard. I think it's not a bad performance, but it's just not inspiring at all, is it? I think you can tell over there from Tony Lee's shouts on the near sides. The 2 sides sort of cancel themselves out. So Weston player back in to take this throw in.
Yeah, up the left for Poole, headed away again by Weston. Touched down nicely by Carmichael and finds Burbage inside. To Holmes. Nice link up with Burbage. He drives towards the edge of the box now, tries to slip it through to Tony Lee. And the goalkeeper's quick off his line to catch it.
Yeah, nice. That's what we need to see more of, and it's what's worked quite well this season is quick interpassing between Holmes and Burbage, but then we become so central and Lee's getting a ball that doesn't really serve him. But a nice idea for the Dolphins, and hopefully more of that will start clicking.
Ball sent long by Harris, knocked about in the air, and it's Weston who eventually get it down with Makuti running inside along the halfway line, sends it back to Nathaniel Williams, the left centre-back. He gets it out to Laird, the left-back. Oh, slightly wayward pass for Humphreys here, and he does well to get there before Luke Holmes. Now Avery. Centre-back able to bring it forward to the halfway line, goes right to his captain, Kieran Thomas. Thomas back to Avery. Slightly loose touch by Avery, and the press is on by Holmes, but Avery managed to wriggle away and send it all the way back to Max Harris in goal.
I think that Lee just looks over his shoulder there. He sees Burbage just strolling towards the halfway line. He knows it's not really worth pressing.
Yeah, that's where it might pay to have Dixon further up the pitch, as Dixon gives away a foul, I think really cheaply given again by the referee. The Western man goes down under the slightest bit of contact.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a big difference in gravity between here and Somerset.
They don't look used to too much force pulling them to ground, the Western players. The referee's been buying them, though, as the free kick is sent towards the goalkeeper, punched away well by Tommy Scott. The Dolphins will try and get it away now. Jackson launches it up the line, goes inside to Humphreys, who cuts it out. Wayward pass by Williams though, and now Poole can counter as Carmichael cuts out and goes left. Holmes is driving into the box. Cuts onto his right foot, puts a cross in. It's away by Williams, the first defender though. Corby Moore wins it ahead of Prince Henry, does really well there. Nice 1-2 with Jackson. Moore to the feet of Burbage on the edge of the D. Can't get away from the defender though. And Dodd will bring it away for the visitors. Clever pass to Makuti out on the left. Dixon gets to it. Good battle between him and Makuti. Wins the tackle. And then the referee
Dixon's won the ball there, and Makuti's just chucked himself to the floor. And instantly, every single Western player has chucked their arms up. It doesn't matter if you're on the floor or the far side of the pitch. Just have to get your opinion across.
I think Jack Dixon clearly got a touch of the ball there. I think it was a really good sliding tackle. And Makuti just goes flying. Referee buys it once again. Yep. And Jack Dixon's been given a yellow card as well. It's the 6th of the game, the 4th Poole's way. The referee, I think, wants to be the main character of this one. Six bookings, Jack. That is just crazy to me.
Already, Weston's goalkeeper's asking how much time's left, so we'll see some elongated goal kicks, I'm sure.
Yeah, just disappointing. A substitution being made by Weston now.
Kings Langley now 5-0 up against Hartley Whitney.
My goodness me, yeah. Goals flying in now around the grounds, just not here, unfortunately. Farnborough lead against Beaconsfield. Salisbury have one at home to Walton Casuals. Free kick drilled in by Weston Super Mare. Confirmation of the substitution there by the visitors. Jay Murray goes off. Dayle Grubb is the replacement.
Definitely get the feeling it's going to be a moment of magic or a big mistake that's going to decide this one if we are going to see a decider.
Unfortunately, we've seen, fortunately and unfortunately, we've seen plenty of both of those from the Dolphins throughout the season. Here's Laird in acres of space on the left. Fortunately, a really poor cross from him. It's over everybody and behind for a Poole throw-in on the opposite side. But
that's what I meant. There was the mistake, and luckily for Dolphins, it was met by a moment of madness rather than magic. But again, Dolphins have already lost the ball after winning the throw-in.
Yeah, there's a real let-off for Poole there as the ball was switched from right to left. And fortunately, Laird, in his attempt to cross, just switched it back from left to right and behind for a throw-in. Far too much space for the two Western players down that left wing, though. I was mentioning the goals that have gone in around the grounds. It's only Met Police versus Chesham, along with this fixture, that are still 0-0 tonight. Merthyr have conceded at home to Dorchester. Free kick on the right for the visitors. And to the edge of the box, touched down almost into Makuti's path at the back post, but Tommy Scott once again is quick off his line to deal with it. Scott kicks out of his arms, barely into the opposition half. Holmes with a clever touch of his chest, though, down to Corby Moore. Moore to Burbage on the right.
I'm noticing. Just look how tight and close together Moore and Carmichael are when the Dolphins have the ball in the middle of the park.
And most of the time that you see one of Moore pass to the other, him and Carmichael, is a 3-4 yard pass sideways that they're playing to each other, which just sort of tells you everything. And this ball will run through to Spetch, just a little headed touch to ensure that Tommy Scott can pick it up and throws it quickly out to Sam Jackson. Now Carmichael drives to the centre spot and might fancy another of his spectacular passes. Instead goes for Nathaniel Williams and gets away with one there as he dives in off his feet. Carmichael, he's so lucky he didn't make contact with Williams there. Williams, the centre half, continues to battle and wins it high up. And here's Grubb with his first involvement. Driving on the left, just loses his footing. Shot by Williams. Blocked, still alive for Weston Super Mare. Appeals for a penalty not given inside the box. As Williams, the centre half, went down. Weston still keep it alive, though, down the left with Grubb again. Couple of step overs, he tries to get past Dixon, cuts onto his right to the edge of the box with Dodd. Williams is still down inside the box, headed away at the back post by Spetch as the cross comes in. Dixon to Scott. Referee points to the spot. The visitors have a penalty. It was a soft
I'm
pass
pretty
from
sure Scott
Dixon
gets the ball
towards
first, and again,
Tommy
Weston-
Scott.
Sorry, Jack. I'm sorry to talk over you. Just how the referee's been conned into that again. It's just not only is it just a poor game of football. It's poor officiating, poor decision. It's just not fun to watch. It's just not fun to express how that came about. And I talked about the mistake, and there's a booking here for a Weston player.
What is the referees thinking here? I've got to say, Jack, my view of the penalty decision was actually blocked. So the referee obviously judged
the ball went in a completely other direction. The Weston player, or no matter when a Poole player is anywhere within 2 yards of Weston player, he's already on the floor no matter what.
Yes, McCooty throwing himself to the ground there again. I say I'm not sure who did get the first touch. The referee judged that it was McCooty, and the penalty's given in a similar fashion to Walton's. Grubb steps up, hits the post, and it goes in.
I think that's Weston's first shot on target, which tells you how poor they've been.
70 minutes gone here. Weston Super Mare take the lead. Looked as though Poole had got away with that one as it cannoned off the post, but in truth it was actually a brilliantly taken penalty by Grubb. He's only been on the pitch a few minutes, and he drilled his penalty against Tommy Scott's right post with so much power that it cannoned back across the line and then nestled into the bottom left corner. From Scott's perspective, nothing the goalkeeper could do about that one. Not too sure if he could do anything about the penalty being awarded, though. As I say, I didn't get a clear view of it. JT quite certain that Tommy Scott did get there first. Change for the Dolphins. Luke Holmes goes off with 20 minutes to go. Will Fletcher comes on. Once again, Tony Lee has a strike partner to play with now. And hopefully it will be a pressing partner for him as well. Poole really need to up the intensity here. We're all be back into the rut. 4 losses from 5 if the Dolphins do come away from this one without a goal.
And all of that came from losing the ball high up the pitch. It's just a severe amount of errors for that to happen.
It was actually Davey that's gone off, not Luke Holmes. A correction made there. I did expect that it would be Teddy Davey, given that the youngster is on a booking, and the referee certainly doesn't seem too shy to reach into his pocket. I think smart for Tom Killick to take off another yellow-carded player. So it's Davey off for Will Fletcher. Luke Holmes is still out there. As I say, about 20 minutes to go here. The Dolphins in serious need of a goal or two to ensure there isn't a 4th defeat from 5 and 3 from 4 in the Southern League South as well. Not the sort of form that you want to be looking at if you want to get into the playoffs. No foul given against McCooty for a push here. He makes his way into the box, cuts it to the edge with Grubb again, drills a shot, and it's 2-0 to Weston Super Mare. That is absolutely shocking again. I'm quite certain that McCooty has pushed Sam Jackson to ground there as he made his way into the box. And Super Mare double their lead. And it looks as though this
at
game's
least Weston Super Mare finally have a shot on target to show for their 2 goals. I spoke about how Truro looked completely false position. I think Weston quite rightfully should be lower down the table, despite their huge budget in comparison to Poole. It's just been such a poor performance from both sides, where 2 goals just don't befit either side. 1 goal doesn't really decide either side. There's just too many passengers in this Poole team for any sort of success. When it goes well, and when it goes poorly, heads drop. I'm assuming, I know Tommy has hinted at that he does pick favourites.
Apologies, I thought there was a second from Grubb. It's actually Jordan Bastin who's on the score sheet now. And as you say, JT, I'm quite certain it is Weston's first shot on target from open play.
I didn't agree with your initial comment about the referee making it about himself, but right now he's made 2 decisions just now that are incorrect. So I agree with the McCooty push.
You agree that it wasn't a push by McCooty?
It was a push.
It was, yeah.
Again.
I thought so, certainly.
There, it's just a stupid niggly foul. That play could just continue. And in the end, he's just had a talking to, which will serve nothing. Weston will certainly won't listen. They haven't listened to him telling them to shut up for complaining for every foul. And here we go, there'll be a talking to for Tony Lee here instead.
Tony will probably get a booking.
It'll be a booking.
Oh, he
With
does.
something that Weston has done all
dearie
game.
me. This is... Oh, my goodness me. I try my best to be impartial.
Like I
JT,
said,
but
like,
this is just pathetic.
With the Hayes and Yedding game, there's two big decisions that swing it. And in the end, Poole get done on the counter. But here, it's just death by 1,000 cuts in terms of just poor decision after poor decision, which has just led to Poole getting even more frustrated. And yes, they haven't covered themselves in glory either. But it's just one of those evenings where you can't really say football's won.
Grubb trying to flick
And
one
again, there's
through to
pushing and
Henry,
shoving all over there.
Yeah, well done, referee. Very well done. Deary me. Can't believe what I'm seeing here, Jack. Free kick finally goes Poole's way. Tommy Scott to take it just on the edge of the box. On the edge of Poole's box, of course. Nothing too crazy going on. Well, at this point, you might as well allow Tommy Scott to go. Although the best chances for the Dolphins have come from Tony Lee free kicks. Says it all, really. Not too much happening in open play from either side. Weston do come away with potentially the result today. 15 minutes to go now.
I think we can talk about refereeing decisions. There have been some poor decisions recently, but you have to start questioning the character, mentality of this Poole team. It's just, again, like I said, too many passengers at the back, and it's not enough passion there. There's been some really good performers over the years that just really haven't delivered this year, especially the midfield. The midfield's just so passive; it doesn't really create anything. It very rarely wins the ball back, and there's been so many times this season where it's been bypassed and left the defence hung up and dry. I think that's Burbage's first touch in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and again, you've got, Josh Carmichael and Corby Moore sort of holding hands in the middle. It's as if you're playing with 10 men at times with those two so close to each other. Really need to make more use of the space on the pitch. As Rose tries to send one long for Lee, and it's over his head again. He's looking seriously frustrated. These aren't the sort of performances and results, as I say, with Poole's recent form, that is going to make a striker as prolific as Tony Lee want to stay at the club with so many offers coming in. Of course, we sincerely hope he does.
Yeah, we were seeing, I just pointed out before the game that Steve Devlin's in attendance. Fantastic midfielder, and he's exactly what Poole are missing, and they've been missing that in the midfield ever since his injury. Poole is a unit, one of the best defensive sides in the last one, the Southern League, and they've got key components of that defence in place with Spetch and Wiskin, but it's just the midfield that leaves them so exposed so many times. And if the midfield's not generating anything, and not clicking attacking-wise, and they're not helping defensively, what's the point of them?
There we go, more defending to do as Grubb reverses it cleverly for Laird. Cross drilled in, cleared away by Poole. Weston still in control, though. It looks like the Dolphins have just switched off at this point. Grubb still knocking about on the edge of the box of Weston. Humphreys with a clever touch there. And
I think the only thing I'll praise there is that at least Holmes has shown a little bit of an ounce of caring, even if it's a sloppy tackle that isn't needed. I mean, Dixon's come on, he's lucky to still be on the pitch.
Alfie Molden during all of that. JT has come on for his Weston Super Mare Bauer substitution. He came on for Jordan Bastin. That was another one that you were talking about before the game, Jack, the signing of Alfie Molden.
Yeah. It kind of highlights just where Poole are in terms of their off-the-field position. There's always that sense of lethargy and almost pointlessness without a permanent home here. Nothing to real build towards, no real source of income to strengthen the side. And Tom Killick just does wonders with what he gets. And I don't think he gets enough support from fans in terms of rough patches. And I don't think he really is getting any support from his players today. Be that is that because there's some poor selections. I know there was a bit of distrust in letting Bedford go. And that says a lot because I don't think Jez Bedford's been fantastic. His goal contributions have dropped in recent seasons.
Humphreys with a shot there, easily gathered up by Tommy Scott.
But it does just feel that players are getting second, third, fourth and fifth chances. I'm not saying completely sell them on, but there's players waiting on the bench week in, week out. Bedford was one of them, and in the end he's ultimately ended up leaving.
Yeah, there are some performances certainly where you'd watch certain individuals and think surely Jez Bedford can't do any worse than these if given an opportunity. Ball down the line. Dolphins win a throw in quite high up.
No, they haven't. It's been given the other way.
Of course it hasn't. Yeah, no,
Like I said, normally if this was a Western side in form, or the players Western have, you wouldn't be too aggrieved with the result. It's just how poor Western are, considering their budget, considering the players that they have.
Yeah, Alfie Molden brought in for a transfer fee after a failed bid by Western for our very own Tony Lee. And clearly the money to splash on a striker at this level. It's been quite some time since the Dolphins have spent a transfer fee on anybody.
I think it's the aforementioned Steve Devlin that we've just discussed.
Yeah.
Well, I think even if you do sell Tony Lee for a fee, the clubs can't spend it on anything apart from playing staff, and at the moment, is that even worth it?
Yeah, they go into the box with Grubb and then Molden. Shot low, and it's 3-0.
Extremely poor from Scott there. Can't cover the glory. He's been done by his defence, but again, the midfield is just non-existent. Too many heads have dropped, and if I'm Tony Lee, I'm seriously considering my future.
He must be so frustrated, Tony Lee. He's run his heart out tonight to absolutely no avail. No help when he's tried to press. At 0-0 again and again, he was on a centre-half, and they just had such a simple pass to their partner, where you would want a Burbage, a Holmes, or even Teddy Davey, the youngster. Clearly had plenty of energy about him. That's where you want them. You want them on that centre-half, making sure the pass isn't easy. And it has been every single time, and there's no surprise that Lee is looking frustrated now. As you say, he must be considering his stint at Poole here with so many offers coming in on an almost weekly basis for the Talisman. There he is, winning one in the air. Into the feet of Fletcher. Clever shot from him on the turn and saved well by Max Harris. Not too difficult for him, though, in truth. Desperately disappointing for the Dolphins. We're talking about Steve Devlin. The last time that Weston Super Mare were here, he was on the score sheet. The Dolphins winning 3-1 on that day. That was all the way back in 2017. Oh, how things have changed. Oh, how Steve Devlin could be of use today if he was still fit and playing. Ball down the left wing for the Dolphins out of Tommy Scott's hands. Cleared away by Weston Super Mare. About 8 minutes left of regular time here. It is Poole Town 0, Weston Super Mare 3. Sure, this will see Weston dart up the table, as they do have a couple of games in hand over teams around them, including the Dolphins. Did say prior to kick-off that Weston Super Mare's position in 16th was slightly false. As it stands, they move into 13th. Only a point behind Walton Casuals with 2 games in hand over them. 2 points behind Chesham, 2 games in hand over them. And they are 8 points from the Dolphins, but with 4 games in hand. Poole having played the joint most games in the Southern League South, 17 along with Beaconsfield. How surprising that you can at least say that of the Dolphins this season. Usually one of the chasing pack in terms of games played. Here goes Declan Rose, bringing it into the opposition half. He gives it back to Corby Moore. Makuti has now gone off for the visitors. Lucas Vowles being introduced with just a few minutes to spare here. Long ball sent towards Lee. Williams is over the back of him, and the Dolphins have another free kick from about 25 yards. Again, fairly central to the goal, maybe just a little bit to the right. And Lee, given his efforts today, will certainly fancy himself to shoot from this one once again. If he can find the net with this one, the Dolphins might just believe they can still snatch something with 6 or 7 minutes remaining.
Yeah, if you have 3 more free kicks.
They might need that, although at least they'll give some belief. They might actually fancy throwing the kitchen sink forward. Tony Lee's shot for the top right corner and just over and wide. I think Max Harris had that one covered, though.
Yeah, I think the only point now is to just keep on giving the ball to Tony Lee, stick a 5 on and finish top goal scorer, and see if you've got a transfer budget for next season.
Unfortunately, that top goal scorer market might be closed by now, JT. Tony Lee, I think, about 10 ahead of the closest chaser in the Southern League South already. Joe Wickham coming on for Luke Holmes, the third and final change for the Dolphins. Once again, it's only a few minutes of action for Joe Wickham, though. Weston try and get in, but caught offside. Free kick over on this left-hand side. And what does the referee want now? Has Sam Jackson taken this an inch further forward than it was awarded?
I think that's where the main frustration comes from. It's not only poor...
Sam Jackson has just been shown a yellow card as he stands over a Poole free kick.
That's the frustrating thing. It's been atrocious from Poole, atrocious from the match officials, and Weston just kind of just showed up, got gifted a penalty, and they've gone, all right, thanks, and just haven't really been troubled since.
I mean, make no mistake, Weston have been the better side in this second half in particular, but it's not down to them being too spectacular themselves. It's just a really poor performance from the Dolphins, but as you say, aided in no part at all by the match officials.
I'm not sure if that's part of it. There's been a few displays where, yes, the Dolphins can legitimately have some qualms about the match officials. They just don't offer anything else. Like if this was 0-0 and right at the last minute that penalty gets given, yes, I can see why Paul are aggrieved. But even in the face of adversity, they just really haven't shown anything. And it's not something I've really seen from a Poole side under Tom Killick.
Just the same old problems of heads dropping and not really showing any desire, even after just the first goal. The midfielders not wanting to help out the defence or the attack. Corby Moore with a clever pass to Wickham, though, who's fresh legs, might be able to stretch this Western defence a little bit. It's a good sliding tackle from Laird, though, the left-back. Sorry, it was actually Nathaniel Williams who stepped out from left centre-half again. He's had a really good game for me, Jack. Nathaniel Williams, I think he's made sure that Poole don't have too much from open play in terms of attack.
Yeah, from what little he's been asked to do, certainly. I think I wouldn't say a bad word about any Western defender, because I really haven't had to see them defend tonight.
Throw in taken, trying to get it out, Weston, but Corby Moore wins the header. Tony Lee into the corner, up against three defenders though, and again he's not got too much support. Loses out, Tony. Poole able to keep it forward with Corby Moore though, and a free kick goes Weston's way again.
I think Moore did kind of have Humphreys by the collar. It's spun, but there Weston quite rightly complaining that they should just be allowed to play on. This referee, the whistle has been next to his lips the entire game. There we go.
There it goes again. 2.5 minutes remain of regular time. There have been a few stoppages in the second half, only for substitutions and goals. I'm not sure if we will see any time added on. I think the Dolphins will be hoping not at this point. Harris with the free kick forward. I can relate to our young supporter there.
No, I've been critical of, I think sometimes Poole fans' expectations are too high in terms of results, but I think when you look at the results, some of them, like the Chippenham game, fantastic performances just denied by poor results. But you look at these results and the performances don't really offer anything. They don't really excite you. But they're extremely lucky there, Declan Rose.
Oh, and
there's frustration there.
Showing some frustration there, Declan Rose. He's lucky that Kieran Thomas hasn't made too much of it. I think there might have been a stamp there by Declan Rose, and then he clearly very frustrated.
Yeah, the number 16 there, time wasting when you're 3-0 up against a side that probably couldn't hurt a fly.
Good to see some passion at least from Declan Rose, a 19-year-old.
Yeah, he's certainly not one when I talk about passengers. He's definitely not on the top of my list. There's many other more senior players, and I think the fact that he's playing left back, centre back, right back, his position's changing each week. The only ever present in this Poole side speaks a lot about how good he is. And I think I personally, not saying this season's a write-off. You look at the funds of other sides in this league, you kind of have to count your eggs rather than think about what chickens you have potentially in the future. But keeping players like Declan Rose, Joe Wickham, Will Fletcher, the youngsters, and just blooding them in could be a good idea. Dan Bartlett, I think he's a good player and he comes from higher stock, and there's a lot of talk about him moving back up to the higher ranks. But you look at Josh Carmichael, that doesn't always happen. So I think just getting Dan Bartlett involved and just building around a young core. Sam Jackson, for example. You look at Jackson, you look at the body language, there's certainly players that care. You can't really have too much to go at the two young lone players that come into a dressing room probably not on the highest of confidence.
3 added minutes, 1 for each goal scored by the visitors.
And that's the frustrating thing. I do look at that Poole side, there's players that I would say can play in the National South, let alone the Southern Premier. They're just not all clicking at the same time. I agree with Tom Killick that individually on paper these players could threaten for a league title. It just doesn't really click.
Yeah, you have to wonder what the problem is. I do think there's a bit of a stubbornness from Killick in terms of match tactics and lineups. Even with the small squad available, it seems to be the same faces every time, regardless of how they've been performing.
We did see that free at the back briefly, and it worked to quite some effect. And you must be thinking now, surely it's time to give it a go, especially with Genesini, Jack Dixon, Rose chucks himself in there, Wickham there getting involved.
I think the issue for the Dolphins at the moment in terms of a back three is Declan Rose with another brilliant sliding tackle. I think the issue at the moment is simply lack of defensive numbers, with Thiago Caz de Silva leaving a few weeks ago, and of course Jamie Wiskin out nursing that groin injury as well. Perhaps once Wiskin is back in the frame.
And Sean Wright, yeah, but you can always play Jackson as a left centre back, or Spetch there. Corbin Moore can also play left back. But yeah, it just at the moment it just feels like there's too many passengers.
There's Joe Wickham with Burbage overlapping. He's barely seen a touch of the ball in the second half. He uses Wickham cleverly though as he bursts towards the box. Burbage with a smart delivery to the back posts. Over everybody though, and
Penalty.
and of course
Yeah, well, you think how
given.
you think how soft the initial penalty was. Dixon gets nudged in the air. At least with the Poole penalty, he won the ball. There, it's the softest foul, but this referee will just give anything like that. And you can kind of probably feel that he feels guilty that he's given some real soft, stupid fouls throughout the game.
Yeah, just a case of compensating a little bit, I think, from the referee. Or maybe he's got that bet on the top goal scorer, as you mentioned. Tony Lee with a chance to make it 20 in 16 in the Southern League South from the spot. Must assume that Tony will be over this one anyhow. A chance for a consolation goal at least for the Dolphins.
Last goal wins, is it?
Tony Lee will step up. Oh, and it's been saved. Just a summary of the Dolphins' evening. Tony Lee drills it straight down the middle. Max Harris did dive to his right, but left his feet on the spot where he stood and just able to clip it away with his boot. Strong foot on it as Tony Lee drove it along the surface. Again, Jack, I think you said it in the first half when he made a good save with his foot. It was David De Gea-esque from Max Harris. Just smartly leaves his leg trailing on the goal line as he dives. Good goalkeeping from him. And he has been one of the better performers for Weston, I would say. No surprise to know that he comes from Cheltenham in League One.
I think we've seen tonight two teams that they might finish 6th or 7th. If they get in the playoffs, they'll be out in the semis. Just genuinely would have rather been anywhere else tonight. Just poor game, poor from Poole, poor from Weston, and poor from the officials. It's just boring beyond maybe the drama surrounding two complete non-penalties that were given. I can't really keep on reiterating. I think Poole really need to show some character in coming weeks. Can't be doing this stuttering response where it's one good performance met by defeat. And again, I got in trouble for saying the atmosphere is flat, but there's nothing to feed off here at Tottenham at the moment.
No, to be clear, of course, when you said that a couple of weeks ago, it wasn't a criticism of the supporters, but more a fact that You know, when you've seen Poole defeated as strongly and convincingly as that, what is there to really think about?
Strongly or convincingly. It's just Weston had 3 chances that fell to them. Poor goalkeeper from Tommy Scott at the end should not be beaten at the near post, and there was kind of sold short by his defence. But there's nothing special about that Western side, and like I said, even Truro impressed me more. And Truro came here and did the exact same thing where they just had to put the ball on the back of the net. There's just no point, did I think, without referee's intervention, would Western have that, or Poole's collapse. And again, things have to be asked of Poole, and I'm not sure, is that Maggie Hubbard discussing with the match official? No, it's a Western player, official, but yeah, just genuinely one of the worst games of football from a neutral perspective, let alone a Poole perspective. Just rather be anywhere else tonight.
Yeah, and there were several other places to be tonight, Jack, where goals did also fly in. Kings Langley 5, Hartley Wintney is certainly the story of the evening from around the grounds. That one is at full time. Other games just playing out their final couple of minutes now. Farnborough 2, Beaconsfield 0, Merthyr 1, Dorchester 1. The Welsh side have equalised there. Met Police 2, Chesham 0, and Salisbury 2, Walton Casuals 1 are the other scores from around the grounds. Just a reminder, if you're not aware, there is no game for Poole this weekend. The next fixture is next Tuesday night away at Yate. I will be there. JT will not, unfortunately, but rest assured we will have commentary from that one if you can't make the trip on Tuesday night. Thanks very much for tuning in to Radio Poole Town. We hope you are with us next Tuesday if you can't make it, and good night.
Not an ideal result. Shocking, really, for a home game. Got to turn that form around. Get the fortunes that we have away from home clicking at home. Take care. See you next time. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.